Единственный в огне, кто читает свои сны, поклоняюсь темноте.
Hello guys, welcome to my vlog. This is Ashley Jan de Assis from Section Silver in Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. First, we must talk about how mountains, valleys, ridges, and volcanoes are made. First, we must talk about how mountains are made. There are few different types of fault mountains. The first type is when a continental plate meets a continental plate. Both plates are thick and strong, and if one plate will be forced upwards to create the mountain range, and the other plate will be subducted or pushed downwards, and it will be destroyed. This can create a lot of friction, and this friction can cause earthquakes. A famous earthquake that occurred in the Himalayas in Nepal just a few years ago. The next type is when an oceanic crust meets a continental crust. The oceanic crust is thinner and weaker than the continental crust. Therefore, the oceanic crust will be pushed downwards or subducting and be destroyed. The continental crust will be lifted up slightly and is similar to if you put a spatula underneath a slice of pizza. And one famous example of this type of fault mountain is the Rocky Mountains in the USA. The process can also create a lot of heat and magma, again which can sometimes create volcanoes and earthquakes. The last type is when oceanic crust. It means the oceanic crust at this plate boundary, one plate, will be subductive and destroyed. This create heat and magma causing volcanoes. This volcanic eruption creates underwater mountains which then become volcanic island arcs. When they reach the surface of the water, we can see many new islands being made via this process. In Indonesia, because it's along the Pacific Ring of Fire, all three types of old mountains are very similar. They occur at plate boundaries, where two or more plates meet and the forces acting on them push one plate upward and the other plate downwards. Next is how mid-ocean ridge were formed. What is the mid-ocean ridge? Under the ocean basins, molten rock from the mantle wells up between separating plates, creating the new ocean floor. Here the plates move away from each other, and the fractures created are immediately filled with molten rock that has oozed up from the mantle. Most upwelling of material from the mantle along separating plate boundaries is mostly found underneath the Earth's ocean. The upwelling area is recognized as the mid-ocean or mid-oceanic ridge. Mid-ocean ridges appear as huge underwater mountain chains of igneous rock known to rise 9,840 feet or 3,000 meters from the ocean floor and extend 1,240 miles or 2,000 kilometers wide. The mapping of the seafloor has also revealed that these huge underwater mountain ranges have a deep rift valley that bisects the length of the ridges, and in place or more than 6,560 feet or 2,000 meters deep. Numerous earthquakes usually occur as the plates move away from each other. In the volcanic country of Ireland, the mid-Atlantic ridge rises above the oceanic surface and splits down the middle of the island. As the ocean plates move away from each other, they may at the same time be sliding under another plate, a process called convergence. And next is how valleys were formed. A valley is an extended depression in the Earth's surface that is usually bounded by hills or mountains and is normally occupied by a river or stream. Since valleys are usually occupied by a river, they can also slope down to an outlet which can be another river, a lake or the ocean. Valleys are the one of the most common landforms on the earth, and they are formed through erosion or the gradual wearing down of the land by wind and water. In river valleys, for example, the river acts as an erosional agent by grinding down the rock or soil and creating a valley. The shape of valleys varies, but they are typically steep-sided canyons or broad plains. However, their form depends on what is eroding it, the slope of the land, the type of rock or soil, and the amount of time the land has been eroded. There are three common types of valleys, which include V-shaped valleys, U-shaped valleys, and flat-floored valleys. V-shaped valley. A V-shaped valley is a narrow valley with steeply sloped sides that appear similar to the letter V from a cross-section. They are formed by strong streams which over time have cut down into the rock through a process called downcutting. These valleys form in mountainous and high island grass with stream in their youthful stage. At this stage, the streams flows rapidly down steep slopes. An example of V-shaped valley is the Grand Canyon in the southwestern United States. After millions of years of erosion, the Colorado River cut through the rock of the Colorado Plateau and formed a steep-sided canyon, V-shaped canyon known today as the Grand Canyon. Next is U-shaped valley. A U-shaped valley is a valley with a profile similar to the letter U. They are characterized by steep sides that curve in at the base of the valley wall. They also have broad, flat valley floors. U-shaped valleys are formed by glacial erosion as massive mountain glaciers move slowly down mountain slope during the last glaciation. U-shaped valleys are found in areas with a high elevation and in high latitudes, where the most glaciation has occurred. Large glaciers that have formed in high latitudes are called continental glaciers or ice sheets, while those forming in mountain ranges are called alpine or mountain glaciers. Due to their large size and width, glaciers are able to completely alter topography, but it is the alpine glaciers that form most of the world's U-shaped valleys. This is because they flowed down the pre-existing river or V-shaped valleys during the last glaciation and caused the bottom of the V to level out into a U-shape as the ice eroded the valley's walls, resulting in a wider, deeper valley. For this reason, U-shaped valleys are sometimes referred to as glacial troughs. One of the world-famous U-shaped valleys is Yosemite Valley in California. It has a broad plain that now consists of immersed river along the granite walls that were eroded by glaciers during the last glaciation. The third type of valley is called a flat-floored valley and is the most common type in the world. These valleys, like V-shaped valleys, are formed by streams, but they are no longer in their youthful stage and are instead considered mature. With the streams, as the slope of streams channel becomes smooth and begin to exit the step V or U-shaped valley. The valley floor gets wider because the stream gradient is moderate or low. The river begins to erode the bank of its channel instead of valley's walls. This eventually leads to a meandering stream across a valley floor. Over time, the stream continues to meander and erode the valley soil, widening it further. With flood events, the material that is eroded and carried in the stream is deposited, which builds up the floodplain in the valley. During this process, the shape of the valley changes from a V or U-shaped valleys into one with a broad flat valley floor. An example of flat-floored valley is the Nile River Valley. Since the beginning of human development, valleys have been an important place for people because of their presence close to river. Rivers enabled easier movement and also provided resources like water, good soils, and food such as fish. These valleys themselves were also helpful in that valleys walls often block winds in other severe weather if the settlement patterns were positioned correctly. In areas with rugged terrain, valleys also provided a safe place for settlement and made invasions difficult. And lastly is how volcanoes are made. As the liquid called magma beneath the Earth's crust gets hotter, it rises, it collects in a space called a magma chamber. Just under the surface on the Earth, when the plates of the Earth crust move and as the magma rises more and more pressure builds up. Eventually, the magma explodes out of the surface in a volcanic eruption. When it's above the surface of the earth, the magma is called lava. When the lava cools down, it hardens to create an extra layer on the earth's across over time. There are more volcanic eruptions in each time the lava cools. It builds up the earth's crust to eventually form a mountain called a volcano. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe for more content. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.